Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Poolside Stories. And today, we're going to be talking about passing the lifeguard test. At 16 years old, most people are trying to pass their driver's test. Well, some people decide to take on a test where someone's life could literally depend on whether you pass or fail. Welcome to episode 1 of the series. Today, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes on how I passed a official lifeguard certification test 2 at 16 years old. The hardest skills, the written exam, and the exact steps you need to know if you want to get certified and land your first paying job. So before you even step into the actual lifeguard class, there's a massive hurdle called the Prerequisite swim test. If you can't pass this on day one, you get sent home immediately. And that's what happened to me. I went in to pass my swim test, and I did my swim. I did my treading water. I didn't pass the brick test because I think the hardest part about it was when I did my first swim test, I did the treading water first, and then I did the swim, and then I did the brick, and then my legs were already exhausted. So I think the best thing for you guys to do is, if they give you the option on what to do first, is to either do treading water or the brick first and then do your swim. Swim is probably the best to do last. But what you have to do is a 300-yard swim. You have to tread water for 2 minutes using only your legs. You cannot use your hands. And you have to swim 20 yards. You have to dive down 7 to 10 feet and grab a 10-pound brick. Either swim on your back, holding the brick with both hands, or swim like holding the brick. You have to have the brick out of the water, though, and you can use one hand. And you have to do that all in under 1 minute and 40 seconds, which for me, I think it was under 5 minutes. And that brick test is brutal. Your legs are burning, your lungs are on fire, and you're trying to keep a 10-pound weight above the water while kicking backwards. But once you clear that, you're officially in the course. So the actual training course takes around 25 to 30 hours spread out over a few days. I think mine was 3 days, and it's split into 3 main categories. So you have your water rescue skills, you're learning your tube rescues, your active versus passive victim saves, you're handling spinal injuries in deep water, and then you have your CPR and your AED training. You're going to be learning your proper chest compression rhythms, your bag valve mask operations, your BVM, and how to use a defibrillator. And number 3, you're going to be learning about first aid, how to bandage, how to handle heat exhaustion, allergic reactions, sudden illnesses. They may teach you FAST, or SAMPLE, or those acronyms, which they probably will. I think the hardest part was probably practicing the active victim deep water rescue or the passive, because if you have a deep water victim and you try and do a deep water spinal, those are probably the hardest, because you have to get the backboard, you have to push the backboard up above your head once you're going into the water, while the person that's on the backboard pulls the person out. And yeah, you have to dive under a struggling victim, push the rescue tube into their chest, and bring them to the surface while they're kicking around. I have a story about that. I think a few weeks ago I was working, and this one kid ran off the diving board. For context, you have to wait for the lifeguard to tell you to go off the diving board because of safety issues. And this kid ran off the diving board, didn't know how to swim. I guess after I saved him, he told the lead that he was getting peer pressure to go down it. I have no idea. But ran off the diving board, couldn't swim, so he started flapping his arms, 12 foot of water, and had to go in and save him. But the kid was fine. He came out, shook my hand, and said thank you very much, and he was nice about it. But, okay, we're going into test day. You're going into your physical and written exam. To get certified at 16, you have to pass two main parts. You have to pass your physical scenarios, and you have to pass your CPR and first aid portion. Then you have to pass your written exam, which, once you get all of those, then you're a lifeguard. But you have to get 100% correct execution on the physical scenarios like the extrication, your full speed rescue scenarios, things like that. And then for your CPR and first aid portion, you have to have 0 critical errors. If you have an error, they're going to make you restart. And for your written exam, it's either a 50 to 100 question, multiple choice question on the safety rules and the extrications and the protocols and things like that. On that, you have to get an 80% or higher. So when the instructor called my name for the live rescue scenario, I remember this. My heart was pounding. They yell, activate your EAP, and then they either say victim down in deep end, then they say either submerge or something. And you have seconds. You have seconds to jump in, perform the save, extract them from the pool, and then start your CPR. After 3 days of intense training, I passed. But that's only for the first job. For the second one, I had to redo it because I didn't pass the written exam. I did not pass the written exam. I did everything else correctly. I passed that, but I did not pass the written exam, so I had to show up again. And all I can say is make sure you're paying attention. Don't be on your phone or talking to other people. Just make sure you're paying attention. Then you can talk when you're on your breaks, but don't do what I did. If you're 15 or 16 thinking about doing this, here are my top 3 tips to pass you on your first try. Number 1 is to practice your kicks. If you know what an egg beater kick is, or if you don't, you need to look it up and train that because it makes treading water and carrying the brick 10 times easier. Number 2, memorize your CPR steps early. So don't wait until exam night to memorize the ratios for adults versus infants. Don't do that. Or don't wait until an hour before to memorize it. And then tip 3, build up endurance. Start swimming laps a week or 2 before the prerequisite test so your lungs are ready, so you're ready for that test, so you're ready. And honestly, passing this test was huge because it opened the door for my second job for the city and a pretty nice bump in my hourly pay rate. In episode 2, we're talking all about money, going to compare how much I made at my first job versus how much I make as a lifeguard at the second job, and whether the extra effort is really worth it. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.